and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. Today we are recording episode number 64, and today we are coming to you from Prague, and we have a very special guest today. Well, Prague and Philly, of course. Can't leave out my amazing co-host. And today we'll be talking about, it has now been over 5 months since I have been in the Czech Republic, including one of my great friends who will be our special guest today. And we're going to talk about some of the things we've learned, experienced, and have a couple good stories to share. So it should be a really enjoyable episode. So with that being said, first I would like to introduce my amazing co-host, my buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hello. Hello to our audience. Hello to everyone. We are here in I'm here in the Harry Potter Studios, Philadelphia office of the Untranslatable Podcast. It's good to be here. I'm working on my NPR voice because Chad seems to have adopted a new, softer spoken, more delicate approach to talking, and I like it. Please, everyone, follow us on Twitter, Untranslatable1.
Пожалуйста.
The number one. Please, everyone, follow us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. It's really popping like always.
Пожалуйста.
Please, everyone, email us untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Tell us your untranslatables, like this one.
Slipping on gator piss.
Or, just tell us hello.
Exactly. Well, Jared, can I, before I introduce our special guest for today,
please
let me explain why I have the NPR voice today. Two reasons. Last night we finished up our midterm meeting, and we were out pretty late at a club. And as you know, in clubs it tends to be fairly loud, and so my voice is a little bit worn out from that. And then also we are recording at an Airbnb in Prague right now, and I think there may be another person staying here, so I'm not trying to scream.
My goal is to make you laugh really hard. It's probably not going to happen because I'm not that funny. But
we can agree to disagree on that one. But anyways, without further ado, though, we have a very, very special guest, my good buddy David, who has been on the podcast before and enlightened all of us about studying abroad in Russia.
Yes.
And gave us some cool Russian phrases. So we're happy to have you on again, David.
Hey, thank you so much, Chad and Jared, for having me on again. I'm really excited to be here. I just learned the other day that I have that my Пожалуйста has become a little famous on your podcast. So I'm very honored, and I'm honored to be back here.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's a good
Пожалуйста.
And it's so useful. I mean, we're always begging people to follow us and stuff. So it's so useful for our pathetic please. So I don't have to continue to say please. I just have you do it for us.
Пожалуйста. Well, thank you. I'm happy to help.
So what's been going on, Jared? How's life been treating you?
Life's been treating us pretty good. In Philadelphia, we've been getting the sort of runoff of freezing cold temperatures. It's not as bad as the Midwest, but it's been pretty bad. And it makes me first wonder, how did I ever live in Michigan? Because it's been in like the teens, and occasionally it's been in the single digits here over the past couple days. But obviously nothing like what's been happening in the Midwest, where it's like negative 35, But still, I walk outside and I'm like, I got 30 seconds before I'm gonna like die, and I was like, I remember, and my sister was talking about, my sister, she goes to U of M now, and she was talking about how it's freezing there, and it's terrible, blah blah blah, and I was telling her how I remember when we were in school in Michigan, and Michigan State closed for the first time in like a century. And Albion was still open. I think I mentioned this before. And people were complaining, and like the Albion sent out an email, or school sent out an email, like a school-wide email saying, stop complaining. The classes, like to walk to class only takes less than 10 minutes on average, and it takes this long to get hypothermia and frostbite. So if you just walk to class and don't dilly-dally, you'll be fine. And they essentially just told people to shut up and just go to class. And I kind of respected it. I was like, all right.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and to be fair, walking around campus in Albion will take you maximum 15 minutes tops if you're going from like.
That's not even gonna take you that long.
Yeah.
If it takes you that long, you're a slow walker, and you need to work on that.
And Jared's usually a man on a mission when he's walking, so
I mean, especially when it's negative 35.
right, for good reason.
For sure.
That's true. It hasn't been too cold here in the Czech Republic, although we were just in a new place. We were in Humpolec, which is like in the very middle of the Czech Republic. And there was ice everywhere. Dave and I both, I think, almost ate it a couple times trying to walk to some different places.
Most definitely. I think I saw some other people eat it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I almost ate it the other day when I was walking home from the grocery store. And I tried to make it act like, the recovery makes it seem like, I did that on purpose.
Right.
You see this cool slide I did up the sidewalk?
The smoothest recovery I've ever seen, there's a video of this guy running on a treadmill in a gym, and he falls, but he lands forward and immediately just starts doing push-ups, and this hot girl, this really hot girl turns and looks, and he just looks over, and he's like doing push-ups. It's great.
I have seen that. Hold on one second. Sorry. This is background stuff that I don't even want to almost talk about. But did you not make a Trello thing for this one?
I did.
Oh, you did? All right.
Yeah, episode 64. Isn't that where episode this one is?
Yeah, I just don't see it. It doesn't matter. I just don't see it. It doesn't matter. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about this. This is not the time because I don't want to edit video.
Oh, weird. Fair enough.
But anyway.
Weird. Really weird.
Okay. All right. I see. Now I regret bringing it up because you're going to concern yourself with it.
You're good. So anyways, you can just refer to the skeleton if you want, Jared.
Okay.
That's what I've been using. I guess that's why I didn't copy it. Anyways, this is what happens when you get 2 hours of sleep and then take a 2-hour nap.
But at least you get this great voice.
Right. But I have to say, Humpolec was really cool. It was David's and my first time there, and pretty much smack dab in the middle of the Czech Republic. And it was fantastic. You want to kind of talk about some of the things we did there?
Yeah, so I'm sure as Chad has mentioned before, so we had a meeting with the teachers, and there were scholars there, so professors who teach in the Czech Republic, people who do research in the Czech Republic, and students who simply do research in the Czech Republic. So we met with all of them, had a number of meetings where we gave presentations on our work, gave teaching advice, talked about our own experiences, and the rest of the time we basically just had fun, bonded, learned about the town of Humpolec, which is historically a textile town. Mm-hmm. They've made lots of textiles there, I think they said over the past 200 years, including
what kind of
today.
bonding happened?
Ooh, well...
Well, so there were quite a
trust
number
falls?
of no trust falls, unfortunately, but there were quite a few new people there, new scholars that came. I think at least 5 or 6, I would imagine.
So they're starting. They start at the next. I gotcha.
Right. Yeah. They're starting for.
So
this
it was like an
semester.
orientation /
mid-year conference. Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to do it, I guess.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. But the bonding that happened really, I think, happened the most Friday night, which was we got free entry to this club that was right next to the hotel where we hosted everything. And it was a really interesting scene. When we first got there, around 10?
Yeah, about 10-ish.
We got there around 10. And there were like these dudes from Southern Moravia, which is like the southern part of the Czech Republic, the southern east side of the Czech Republic is where Moravia is. And these guys all had violins, and one of them had a upright bass. There was also like a dude with like a clarinet, I think, or something like that.
It's a guy with a clarinet.
And they were pretty lit, and they were like playing all these songs and stuff. And then around,
did you whip out your? I assume you had your travel guitar.
I did.
Handy.
I did. I didn't whip it out at the bar. I did. We also had a little.
Wait, you walk around with it?
Well, I mean, I kept it in the hotel room.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant, okay.
Yeah, I just pull my traveler guitar out.
Because I wasn't
whenever,
really about to judge you. If you're like, say you're at like dinner and it's just like leaned up against the table and it's like, I just carry this around with me. You never know.
Right.
I would really have judged you.
See, I avoid doing that because then I'm going to get a lot of requests for either Wonderwall or Freebird.
And you'll get judged by me. There's that
Of
too.
course. Well, you always judge me anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Do you know how to play Wonderwall and Freebird?
I mean, I used to know how to play Wonderwall, and I know the intro part of Freebird because I used to play it kind of as a joke.
You know what I hate about Wonderwall?
What's that?
Is that I know every single word to that goddamn song. Because I hate it too.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, anyway, so the big bonding though happened when we were just all at the club, and it wasn't just the teachers, it was also some of the older professors were there. And it was absolutely fantastic. Got to talk to a lot of great people, met some cool Czech people. David has a funny story about it. You wanna tell him about the mullet hunter?
Yeah, so
Mullet Hunter.
Yeah, mullet hunter. So here's a good example of a cultural miscommunication, which I'm sure y'all have talked about before. So to give a little bit of backstory, there's this Facebook group here in the Czech Republic. It's called Mullet Hunter Pro. And what people do is they go around looking for guys, and sometimes men, sometimes women, who have mullets. And so they'll see someone who has a mullet, they'll take a photo of it. And they call themselves mullet hunters. So they'll have this photo and they'll go on the Facebook page and they'll post the picture of the mullet. And then they'll give it like a Latin name, like a scientific Latin name, and then give a description. And one might read, okay, dear colleagues, this is the mulletus pragus, from some person with a mullet in Prague. And then they'll say, how they got the photo as if describing some sort of hunt. And actually it was one of Chad's friends who invited me to this group.
Yep.
And I've been in it for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months now. I look at every mullet hunter post, even though they're all in Czech. So sometimes
they are hilarious, and it's almost like they're classifying like a new species of mullet, like with the like mulletus.
I tried to find them on Instagram
or something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
they're
their
not on
Instagram
Instagram.
presence
It's on
is
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. This is 2019. What do you mean Facebook? God damn it.
I mean, Instagram probably would be a better platform for it. But anyway, so we were at this club, and there were some Czech people. There were quite a few Czech people there, and so David, go ahead and tell the rest of the story.
So there were a lot of Czech people at this club. We were dancing for a while, and eventually, everyone in this club just starts talking to each other, and I start talking to some Czechs. I start dancing with a girl. We're dancing, and one of her friends, a guy comes in, interjects, swoops her away, dances with her. She stops dancing with him, comes back to me. I said, "Oh, is that your boyfriend?" Just curious who this person is who swoops her up and then leaves. And she says, "No," and points to her friend. It says it's her boyfriend. I say, "Okay." And then I'm talking, we're dancing some more. We've danced for maybe an hour at this point. And then I don't remember exactly what happened, but after I asked her, is that your boyfriend, her friend comes over and says, "Oh, she's married." I says, "Oh, no, I didn't know that." So we've just been dancing, and it took me an hour to realize that this girl has a ring on her finger. Okay, cool. So we still dance a little more.
Of course.
And then I asked them, because I was really surprised that this girl was married. I guess I just wasn't paying attention, and so I awkwardly asked them, just for the sake of light, stupid conversation. I say, "Hey, are you girls mullet hunters?" and the lighthearted, funny expression on their face just dropped. And this girl, her friend, in this bright red dress, became extremely serious, straight-faced.
And her English was pretty good.
And her English was pretty good.
Mluvite anglicky?
Ano movie. And so she just looks at me and says, no, we don't do that. And I'm like, mullet hunt, like she's very serious about it. I'm like,
mullet hunter.
okay.
No.
Okay.
Stop it.
So I pull up the face. I have my phone. I say, let me look it up. I pull up the Facebook page, kind of like show it to her. She glances at it, just barely looks at it. I don't think she really looked at it at all. And then she puts her hand like on my wrist and says, no, we're not those type of girls. We don't want sex. We're just here to have a fun time. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I asked you if you're a mullet hunter. And it took me about 2 minutes to explain that I was talking about mullet hunting
on Facebook. See, now that I hear it, I can understand why they could be confused. Because to me,
what could they have been confused by, though?
I don't know. Maybe mullet's like how you explain like your pubic area. I don't know. I don't know.
We've been trying to justify their misunderstanding all morning. We haven't come up with much of anything, but yeah.
Did you think of that one? Mullet hunter means
I did not.
Because mullet is maybe similar to like, this is a family podcast. I don't like where I'm about to go with this. But it's maybe like muff, mullet, hairstyles. And I don't know. It just all kind of seems like I could see where they would go with, I could understand the untranslatable confusion in the moment.
But it was just so funny to see her change of expression when I asked her, hey, are you a mullet hunter?
I think it's hilarious that you that's the first thing that came to your head to like as a conversation starter.
Yeah, we had seen a few guys. I forgot to give this little piece of context or big piece of context. There were a few guys walking around the club, like older guys with mullets.
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, 2 or 3 of them.
Is that a popular hairstyle in the Czech Republic that I'm not aware of?
Clearly, if there's a Facebook page called Mullet Hunters, there's got to be
how
enough
many people
of
are
them
in the group
to be hunted. That's a good question. Can you pull it up? There's a decent number of people in the group.
If there's at least 5,000, I'll be impressed. No, at least
there's more than that.
That's hilarious.
That
my standards are higher than my own podcast.
Okay, you ready?
Oh my God! Wow.
56,531 members.
Ooh, see, all right, I'm impressed. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
They need to get Instagram.
Also, I gotta say,
follow them, but I'm not following them on Facebook. I refuse.
Right. I also gotta say though, Jared, it was pretty awesome. Speaking of bonding, I learned how to salsa dance last night. Who would have thought in the Czech Republic you would learn how to salsa dance? But they played a couple like Latin type of tunes.
Prague?
This was in Humpolec. Mm-hmm.
Humpolec?
Yeah, we just got to Prague this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, all the endings here in the Czech Republic, that's LEC is a lets.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good to know.
Yes, sir.
Parada.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Is that the shirt you wore yesterday?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I have actually 2 checkered shirts. This one's blue and white. The other one's black and blue.
Okay, I was just curious because you said you woke up, you only slept 2 hours. I thought, it seems like you were like hammered yesterday or something. So I was just curious if you just woke up with your clothes on. Like I was like, how crazy did this get?
No,
anyway,
didn't get that crazy.
So you learned how to dance, how to dance salsa. Where did that happen in the Czech Republic?
In Humpolec, in that club.
Well, I know in Humpolec, but like how'd that happen in Humpolec is what I meant to say.
So there was another teacher there, actually a professor there. And she was a great dancer, and David and I were kind of sitting at the table, socializing, doing what we usually do. This does sound like
some good bonding, by the way. You guys weren't lying,
right? And so we were just sitting there, and then they were like, "Come on, come dance." So we're like, "All right, we'll go dance." And then they played a song, and it was like a salsa song, and I was like, yeah, like someone kind of taught me the steps a few years ago, but I can't really do it. And she was like, well, then I'm going to show you how to do it. But my problem is it's not a difficult dance in terms of the footwork, but like I kept, I guess, like moving my shoulders or something. And she kept telling me like, don't move your shoulders. Don't move your shoulders.
I can understand. It's more of a fluid motion than
Right.
Yeah,
And your
I can
shoulders shouldn't be
understand that.
moving. Yeah.
I guess so. That's
But,
hilarious.
Yeah, who would have thought the Czech Republic is where I'd get better at doing my salsa steps?
Was the teacher Czech? She's not Czech though. She's American.
No, she was American. She was American.
Where's she from?
Good question. I think Virginia, or at least that's where she is now.
Yeah.
Well, she's in the Czech Republic now, but she was teaching somewhere in Virginia, I think. But
So,
yeah.
how is it with seeing all these other teachers that you never really see? Because you and David are anomalies, right? Or are there other people that have?
Well, if we're being completely honest, we do have some haters because they're a little jealous of our bromance.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, as they should be.
But it's really good to see them all. It's really nice to see them all again. The last time we saw them, everybody, it was in November for Thanksgiving in Prague.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, that's the last time David was on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does anyone call
so.
you Dave?
No.
You know,
no.
I can't see you as a Dave. Dave seems way douchier, and you don't seem like a douche.
Well, thank you.
That's one of the nicest things I've ever said to someone. You don't seem like a douche, but that's only because I'm calling you
Thank
David.
you.
Right.
So I actually have a few students that call me Dave, and I don't know. I mean, I've never asked them to call me that. I think they just heard the name Dave from, I don't know, probably from some TV show or something.
Yeah.
And so they said, okay.
Have you ever would you be one to? I'm surprised. Like in America, you never got Dave.
Not really. No.
Okay, because I would say if you did, would you correct it's David?
No, I do have a lot of people call me by my whole first and middle name. Like my whole family calls me my first and middle name.
Oh.
My parents only do that if they're mad at me.
My mom always calls me by my first and middle name.
A lot of people call me my middle name as a nickname, which is a German name, Johann.
It's a badass middle name, dude.
And so I do get called that from time to time.
Where does that come from again? Because it's family related, right?
Yeah, it was my mom's younger brother who passed away at a young age. It's his name, his first name. I don't know how my grandma thought of it though.
Right.
I don't know where the origination.
Props to your
of it
grandma,
is.
because I think that's a really cool name. I always have.
Oh yeah, I used to kind of be not embarrassed by it, but I guess kind of embarrassed by it. But I embrace it now. I also learned it took me a while to learn how to spell it. I think with the two N's
Right.
at the
That's
end.
true.
That'll throw you off
That's
when
true.
you're 9.
I have to say, speaking of names, I was definitely not a fan of my name as a kid because I was the only one named Chad in my school until high school. And so for me, it was weird. I was like, why can't I just be normal and be named like John or Alex or something, you know?
Right.
But now the older I get,
Now you hate
other
your
than
name
all
for other reasons.
Well, right. Now it's mostly Urban Dictionary based, but yeah.
So I heard a joke the other day, and I was going to text it to you, but it sounded too mean. But since we're talking about it, I'll bring it up now. Oh, God, I
let's
wish
hear
I
it.
could. It's essentially saying that so it was a comedian, and she was saying that a group of Matts is called a Chad. And then she said a group of Chads will probably just rape you. That's the end of the joke.
Jesus. Dear Lord.
That sounds like a Czech joke.
It's her joke. I don't remember who it was, but that was her joke. But I always get texted to you, but I was like, it seems like a weird thing to just text you out of the blue. That just seems oddly mean.
That's true.
To just text you out of the blue. Hey, I heard this about your name.
That is true.
But
Right.
I just thought of it because you mentioned it.
Yeah, Chad unfortunately has kind of a bad reputation.
It does.
But you know, it is what it is. What can you do? But now I think we should spread a little love. What do you think, Jared?
I agree. Spread a little love. After that awful joke, I'm sorry.
We need to offset the negativity with some positivity. So I hear that you have a couple shout outs today, Jared.
You heard correct. I mean, they're kind of depressing. The first one is, at least. Have you heard of a guy named Jussie Smollett?
Mm-mm.
He is a actor in the TV show Empire, I believe. Yes, it is Empire. And he was... I'm trying to remember where he was. See, I'm so bad at. Oh, he was in Chicago, and he got approached by he's a black and gay person, and he got approached by people calling him
I did hear about this.
Mean words, referring to the fact that he's a black and gay person, and probably other words that just general mean words. And he was beat up pretty badly, and he also had bleach poured on him. And
jeez, poor guy.
And then they ran off, and I don't think they found the people yet. So I want to say shout out to him, and I hope he recovers quickly and all that stuff. And obviously, F those other people, but I just want to spread a little love. And I have one other one too. If this one, do you like tennis? Don't you? You heard who? Naomi Osaka won the Australian Open at 21. I'm always blown away by. I mean, this is just life now, but it's always a weird reminder that like I'm fully. There's no chance of me becoming a professional soccer player.
That's true.
Like
That's
that
true.
dream is done. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh yeah, like you see like these professional athletes, and she's 21, and I see soccer players that are like, oh, 17-year-old is just signed a contract with Real Madrid for blah 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 million over 6 years. It's like, all right, I think my chances are done. But it's so crazy. It's so cool to see like essentially these young people just killing it.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
And starting to see like the next generation of stars come out of emerge. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It spices the sports world up, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I also have 2 shout outs. My first one, is a shout out to an 11-year-old girl named Ruby Kate Chitsey, who raised $62,000 for Arkansas care home residents. So these were elderly people that basically were having certain amenities that they couldn't afford or whatever, and so she put together a GoFundMe page, and it has now raised more than $62,000 to provide things that can improve the lives of elderly people, right? So, like for example, getting them, different types of food, different like a nicer pillow, for example, as well. So shout out to her. That's really amazing to be so thoughtful at such a young age.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
be willing to help out all these people.
And even be able to earn that much money.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And my last one, this is a pretty cool one. The famous basketball player Yao Ming has started to speak up about hunting for sharks and elephants. And since then, the amount of people buying and selling shark fins for like shark fin soup and ivory for jewelry or decorations or whatever has dropped significantly. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That is awesome. Shark fin soup. The only thing I would like about it is the name. I like the name. It's got a good name, but I don't think I'd eat it. Not because, and honestly, not even because I'm some sort of hero, to be honest with you. Just because it's just like, ew. I mean, maybe I would. I guess I don't even know what it looks like, but
right.
Yeah,
and
no, that's
I have no idea what it tastes like either.
The thing that's also that I think is terrible about a lot of those sort of delicacy foods like that is that a lot of the times the actual animal is just wasted, and they'll take the part that they want and just throw away like a full shark for its fins or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe there would be less controversy about it if they actually like ate the sharks from the shark fin soup, and that was like actual fillets of meat rather than throwing them away. Theoretically, I mean, people would still hate that, but I think that's at least a better option than just throwing away, just using animals like that.
Absolutely.
It's like
absolutely.
At least,
well, Jared, we have a special treat for you for the beer review of the pod. So you remember...
Did you send me one that's at my door right now?
I did. I used beerforyou.cz, and it should be on your doorstep right now. That's right.
Beerforyou.cz.
No, Jared. So here we have. You remember when I did the Kozel, and it was half light and half dark.
I do, yeah.
Bring that one to the camera. Well, now we have the light and
the dark.
That's right.
Are you
I'm
going
dead
to
serious.
Are you going to I believe you. Are you going to are you going to mix them together? Are you going to take a sip of both and then mix them together?
I mean, we could, but I was thinking I'm going to review the light and David's going to review the dark.
Okay.
And then if there's some leftover, since our glass is here, I don't think these are a full half liter. We could definitely do a little mix match and see what we think.
Yeah, I don't want to put that on. David's like, God damn it, I just want my own beer.
right. God damn it, Jared. All right, so we're gonna pour these in our cups and in our glasses and get started with our review. Can you tell our listeners though, David? What? I mean, we've both had these beers, but can you give them a little context? Because I gotta do a couple things here.
So yes, this beer is called Kozel. As I understand, you've talked about it a little before. It literally means goat, but from what Czechs tell me, it is not goat. It is goat man. So there's a little goat on it. He stands upright. He has his beer and his hooves, and it's supposed to be some sort of goat person. The funny thing is, actually, I've seen a van in my hometown here that has the whole Kozel goat man painted all over the side of it. Anyways, it's a pretty good beer. The one that Chad's drinking is the standard number 11 lager. It is just a pretty standard.
I have a question.
Czech lager taste. Yes.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Oh.
Yes.
You can't hear me. I can't hear you guys at all.
Hello. Check.
There we
check.
go. There we go. Oh, hey, it's back.
Okay.
Weird. It could be our Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi here sometimes it works, but it's not the world's best. But yeah. So, anyways, yeah.
Oh no, keep going.
That was all I had to say.
Okay. So, the standard one that most people drink is this lager, light lager, number 11, that Chad's drinking. And also very popular is the dark, Kozel Černý. Černý means black. So the dark Kozel. And according to the can, this brewery was established in 1874. So pretty old.
Yep. And yeah, I'm definitely a fan of both of these. And we'll see. It's actually been a while since I've had the regular Kozel Ležák, so I'm excited to have it again. And I also have to give a shout out to our hosts at the Airbnb. Oh, you might want to drink some of that. Or, no, you're good. That was like a perfect pour. Show Jared that. That was like a perfect pour. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
I'm becoming more Czech every day.
Yeah. I mean, it looks almost like when I see it, if you put that next to like a thing of Coca-Cola and shook it up a little bit so there'd be like a head on it, you couldn't tell
almost the same.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and taste these bad boys. Na zdraví. Good stuff. So you want to start with the dark or the black?
So yeah, let me take another drink actually.
But as Jared can see and our listeners can see, I mean, this has a nice amber color, and obviously the dark.
Chad's blue
looks
cup,
black.
It looks like soda, or pop.
That's right. True.
All right. So my first impressions, and I've had this a good number of times before. It's sweet, like most dark lagers. It's pretty sweet.
In the Czech Republic, dark lagers tend to be sweet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Definitely has a strong malty taste. European malty taste. What else? So I mean, the main difference between this and the porters you get in the U.S.
What, Jared?
I just said I like root beer.
Me too. So many of the beers like you get in the U.S., the porters, they have that kind of strong. I don't even know. How do you describe a porter taste?
Well, to me, it's kind of heavy, kind of thick.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jared? A porter.
Yeah. I mean, usually when I think porter, I think some sort of like coffee-ish or sort of like chocolatey taste to it or something.
That's true.
Yeah. So this dark lager, it's not heavy. There's no coffee taste. It's simply just straight dark beer. And it's a little sweet. So if you prefer a sweeter beer, that doesn't go down quite as well as the lighter lagers, but it's still very easy to drink. I definitely recommend this one.
And would you drink that, you think, by yourself or like with a meal? What do you think that'd be best paired with?
I think I would drink it with like maybe a more hearty meal, maybe a meal with a lot of potatoes.
So any Czech meal, basically.
Yeah, any Czech meal, basically. But definitely, I would not want to drink a lot of these. I wouldn't go drinking 10 dark Kozels. I think that would not end up well.
Right. So was there a way that you guys decided who would get the dark one and who would get the light one?
Well, first, let me give you and the listeners a little context. So this is an Airbnb in Prague that we really enjoy staying at, and we stayed here before we had our meeting. And we booked it again, and we got here, and our very amazing hosts here actually had some Czech pretzels for us and these two beers sitting on our little table in the room we're renting for the evening. So
wow.
It was destiny. Yeah, it was
By the way,
destiny.
that's how Chad does a Beer of the Pod review.
That's right.
Just wait for free beers.
Exactly.
Stumbles upon it. Your Airbnb host set up our Beer of the Pod review.
That's right. Thankfully, we're right across the street from a couple markets, so I was planning on grabbing something when we got here after my nap. But then when this was here, it was like, all right, well, this is perfect. Exactly.
Yeah, especially since we did the mixed one a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. And yeah, so this is just the mixed one separated with the light. You want to toss that bad boy on there with the light and with the dark, which is pretty cool. And the light, I mean, this one is, like I said, has a nice, I wouldn't really, well, it's hard to tell with the blue glass, but I don't think this really has an amber color. I mean, I've seen these poured before, and this has more of a, I can tell you it has more of a golden color to it. Mm-hmm. And in terms of the taste, there's not a huge, really hoppy taste to it. I would say it's just pretty crisp and smooth, but I actually do think that the sweetness of the dark paired with the light in the mixed Kozel is pretty good. I might even say, I think I would probably drink the light one more either if I'm just enjoying a beer at the pub or maybe with a meal. But I think I would actually pick the mixed one in terms of just overall taste profile because it's a fuller, richer taste with the sweetness and then the light.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So tasty beers. And I think, is Kozel from Prague?
Let's find out.
I'm not sure if Kozel's from Prague or not. I have no idea. Thankfully, David's Czech is better than mine, so maybe he can...
Oh, yes. They're owned by Pilsner Urquell.
There you go.
So they're from Pilsen.
Of course.
Knew it. Yeah, I'd say overall it's a really easy drinking beer. And you can say that about most Czech beers, really. That they're, you can drink a whole bunch of them. They're crisp.
Yeah.
But Kozel especially is like really, really easy to drink. Very, very ordinary, simple, crisp taste.
And it's really funny. There's like a big split between. I think there are some people who are super into Pilsner here, and then other people who are like way into Kozel. I'll never forget when I first came here. I was talking to the taxi driver who drove me from the airport into Prague, and he was the one that mentioned you need to try Kozel. Whereas a lot of other Czech people I've talked about, I think Pilsner is definitely the golden standard.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. It's interesting how much excitement can be generated around essentially two different beers that these people have in the Czech Republic.
Definitely.
It just always goes back to me being like, we have so much more variety here, and these people are so excited over 68,000 variations on a Pilsner Urquell.
Right.
They need to loosen up a little
Jared,
there. Let their hair down.
With that's true. With that being said, is it okay if we go into the main topic today and then do our untranslatables after? Because I think that just lends itself to what we've experienced here in the Czech Republic. And I think the first thing that came to my mind with a Czech culture and the Czech Republic is people will ask you, your students will ask you, what do you think of the beer? I think Czechs are very proud of their beer. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes. A frequent question that I've heard from the day I got here till, the most recent class I was in, I think, is, David, what's your favorite beer? And
what
sometimes I tell them Krušovice.
Nice. That's same here.
Okay.
Really nice amber beer. Have you reviewed that yet?
Yeah, we've
nice.
done Krušovice. I'm looking for, they have a really good wheat beer. Not a lot of Czech breweries will do wheat beers, but they have a really good wheat beer. So I'm hoping to find that. Once I can find that, we'll definitely do a review of it. And it's really funny, though, when your students ask you or people ask you what your favorite beer is, I feel like a lot of Czech people have a knee-jerk reaction to your answer, right? So a lot of Czechs
because
that
they
I've
have
talked
their
to
own favorite.
Exactly. And when I tell people Krušovice, a lot of people are like, oh, so Pilsner's not your favorite? And I'm like, well, I like Pilsner, but I prefer Krušovice more.
It's like, no, it's the one I just said.
Right. Exactly. And
are you sure?
Right. They're like, yeah. Are you sure it's Krušovice?
I meant stupid me.
Exactly.
Totally mixed up two very different Czech words.
Right. Yeah. Pilsner and Krušovice. But yeah, and the other thing that I've learned about Czechs and beer is some Czechs, I think, who know a little bit more about the United States and are a little bit more open-minded, you can explain to them about craft beer, and they'll eventually come to the realization that not all Americans only drink Budweiser or Bud Light. These horrible types of beer. I couldn't tell you the last
time these horrible types of beer.
you know I'm right.
I couldn't tell you the last time I drank. Well, maybe a Bud Light. I take that back. I got to take it back. No. But I couldn't tell you.
Would you go to a bar and buy a Bud Light, though?
No, that would never happen.
The very last time I drank a Bud Light is when I was on a date with a girl, and we were buying rounds, and she bought me Bud Light. And I kind of looked at it for a few seconds and said, okay, I'll drink it.
Free beer is free beer, I guess, right? But yes, a lot of Czech students and Czechs seem to think that we only, it's the face value stereotypes. We only eat fast food and we only drink Budweiser and Bud Light and that kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, it's a stereotype, but yeah, okay, whatever. I'll leave it alone.
It is what it is. So I'm curious. I want to hear from David. What are some things that you've learned? Whether it's like cultural differences or things about the Czech Republic. We've been here for 5 months. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah. And again, thank you for having me on, because I'm really excited to talk about this, not only because I enjoy being here talking with you guys, but because it's really good self-reflection, I think, for both me and Chad. It's a really hard question. That's one of those questions that I think will change over time. Not only in 10 months we'll have a different answer, but after we leave and we've been gone a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, our answer will continue to change as we look back on it. One thing that really popped out to me is the whole thing about leisure time and slowing down. Now, I'm sure you hear this all the time. People say this about Europeans. Okay, they eat a long lunch, or they, have more vacation time. And yeah, that's true, and that's part of it. But what I also mean is that I've realized here in Czech, people really take the time to enjoy enjoyable moments, whether that's being at the pub with your friends or having a good conversation while you're at work, whatever it is. People take the time, and people don't rush to end it. Let me explain or give an example. At school all the time, I'll be speaking with my fellow teachers. We'll have to start class, and there's not so much of a rush to, be in class the second class starts, especially if you're having a good, useful conversation. You'll wait for the conversation to end or slowly wrap it up and then move on. In relation to, outside of work, I remember about a month after I was here, I went out with some friends. It was after work, and I thought, I have to be up at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. I kept looking at my watch, but I was pretty subtle about it. And then my friend turned to me and said, "David, let me give you some advice." I said, "Okay, you need to stop looking at your watch. It's killing the mood." And I was a little offended.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, hey, I can manage my own time. But now that I think about it. Sorry?
Why were you looking at your watch so much?
Because it was
getting late.
It was like 12:30 at night, and I had to be up at 5:30. So admittedly, I should have gone home at some point, and I did. But I was really looking at my watch and not engaged in the conversation, enjoying the amazing things I was learning about amongst Czech people. And Czechs really emphasize that, enjoying the moment, making the most out of it, not rushing things, and the idea that things don't need to be rushed. Things will happen in time, and they really aren't worth worrying about. So among many things, this was the thing that...
Did the chill students bother you when you first got there? Like watching them outside of your classroom when it's like, I'm looking at my watch and it's time to start class and you guys are having this conversation and that teacher over there is in on it, holding my class up. Did that ever happen where it's like...
Yes, every week. It continues to happen every single week.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a normal part of Czech schools. Like at my school, it's the same thing. We'll be in the office where I have, 4 of the other English teachers and the Czech teachers in there. And the moment we start having conversation, when I hear that bell ring, I'm up and ready. I'm like, all right, let's go teach.
Same. Yeah.
Let's go educate some children today. But usually what ends up happening is I got to wait. And I always feel a little guilty about it because I'm like, I'm standing up. I have my dry erase markers in my hand. Like, I'm ready to go. And I think my colleagues are probably looking at me like, look at this guy. Like, come on, chill out for a minute, But for me, I'm used to teaching longer periods than 45 minutes. I was teaching anywhere from, I know it doesn't sound like much, but I was teaching, 50 minutes to an hour and 20. And even the 50 minutes, that 5 minutes, I know it doesn't seem like much, but it makes a difference, especially if you get to class on time. Whereas I think realistically in a lot of Czech schools, you walk to class when the bell rings. So realistically, you get there 1 or 2 minutes, maybe even 3, 4, 5 minutes before class starts. So then you only have 40 minutes to teach. So now you're down 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. And if there's any administrative things you need to do with the students, that cuts into class time as well. So, but I
it
would
adds
have
up
to,
quick.
Right. Oh, definitely.
We've already been doing this for 50 minutes and we haven't talked about anything.
Right.
I'm kidding.
we go for 2 hours sometimes and we don't talk about anything. But yeah. But I would have to agree with David though. That's one thing I've noticed as well. And another funny aspect of Czech culture that I really like is the whole, in the Czech Republic, they'll say, let's go for one beer. One beer never means one beer.
It's never in all my time.
It's just
people saying that. It's never ever been one beer. Never. This is over like 30 times of let's have one beer.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
We say that in America too. Like let's get a beer.
Let's go grab a drink.
Yeah, grab a drink. Everyone knows that doesn't literally mean a drink.
That's true.
Let's get a drink.
That's true.
But I feel like oftentimes it will be one, especially if you're pressed for time. You know, people will have one drink and go.
Yeah, in the Czech Republic, that's not the case ever. At least in our experience, I
don't think I've ever been to a Czech pub, aside from like having lunch. I don't think I've ever been to a Czech pub and had just one beer.
I guess that probably relates to what you were saying earlier, though, where it's like that's part of the whole. We're not rushing anything.
Yeah.
Just if you're gonna do this, like if you're gonna be here and do this, enjoy it and enjoy your time here. Don't try to like force your way through it.
Exactly. So yeah, are there any other things that we're reflecting a little bit too of the 5 months? Is there anything that comes to mind?
I have some questions.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
I enjoy looking through Chad's Instagram and throwing up in my mouth a little bit at the comments that his students leave about best teacher ever, greatest teacher I've ever witnessed in the world. We need to build a shrine to this teacher and shoot it off to the moon. Do you get that sort of spread a little love from your students?
Sort of. I don't know.
I'm gonna take that as a no.
No. Yeah,
That's
not
a
really.
no.
Not really.
But see, I think I've met some of David's students, and I think his students they're a little different than mine. I think mine are more likely to say those things, and I don't know why. But David's students, I think, are a little bit more artsy. Is that safe to say?
They're extremely artsy. The most
that's
artsy
hilarious.
people I have ever met.
Right.
It's harder for them to show that sort of love. We're tortured
Or maybe
souls.
they show it in different ways.
I mean,
Right, through this
they
painting.
for sure. I get a lot of appreciation from my students for sure, but yeah.
Sorry, the tram's going by.
Is it? I can't hear it. I almost feel bad that I brought this question up. I feel like it got real awkward.
That's all right. What other questions do you have, Jared?
A little part of me was really. Hold on. Have you gone to any balls? Have you had any balls like Chad has gone to?
No, I have not, but they are coming up, and I am pumped.
Are you going to go alone or bring someone? Because I asked Chad about bringing someone, and what's the protocol for bringing someone to? Sort of a partial work function,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to call it a work function. I mean, it is, but I've never seen a work function where people get this shit-faced. Sorry.
Like teachers?
Yeah.
And student,
okay.
everybody.
Okay. Well, never mind. Who cares then?
But, I mean, I think you can bring anyone you want. There's tickets. They sell tickets, right? And so if you buy 2 tickets, you can take yourself an extra person. If you buy 4 tickets, you can take 3 people. Anyone can come. It's just you have to have a ticket.
Yep.
I'm also way out of my league asking these questions because I have no idea what your relationship status is.
Single and regular mingle.
Oh, well, in that case, no. So have you started thinking about your post Czech Republic plans? Chad likes to get real eerie about his plans.
Well, I've applied to a few graduate schools. I do not have my master's, just my bachelor's, so that's sort of the next step. And I'm considering teaching for another year. I don't know where exactly. Maybe I'll stay here. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. But right now, those are the 2 options. Teach another year and then go to grad school or go to grad school this year.
Grad school in the U.S.?
Maybe.
Maybe
not.
I've applied to some in the U.S. and some outside the U.S.
Or do you feel like you're ready to go home a little bit?
No.
Thankfully, we still got, 4 more months? 5 more months?
4.5.
4.5. There you go.
You're not one to get homesick?
Not really. I mean, I think I get people sick, right? I miss people, parents, pets, whatever, friends, but like I don't really have I don't feel like I have a huge connection to like the place and I don't know.
Right.
The place and those things that you associate with it. Maybe it's the food, maybe it's the culture, maybe it's the general feel or the landscape or something. I don't have strong ties to that, but definitely people I miss.
Right. Missouri, right?
Yes.
Missouri's one of those forgettable states. No offense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said that if you waxed more poetically about your hometown. But I was like, I don't think this is going to bother him because he didn't have you didn't have anything nice to say about it either. But
I mean,
all I know is Ozarks.
Yeah, the Ozarks are pretty. They're pretty, but beautiful nature. But yeah, there's not much there.
And wait, St. Louis, Missouri, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard
St. Louis. That's a big deal.
There's also have not heard great things about that city.
Are you joking?
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
I have
there
not
are
heard
some
good
cool
things
things
about that city. I mean, I've heard you just like in the news, you rarely hear good things about St. Louis in the news is what I mean. But I've heard it's a nice city. Like I haven't heard anything like about visually about what it's like or what it's like to be within the city. I really don't know anything about St. Louis.
Yeah, it's a very historic city.
Really?
What
kind of history happened in Missouri?
So in St. Louis especially, there's lots of history surrounding the turn of the century between the 19th and 20th century, right? The World's Fair was in St. Louis. Spirit of St. Louis by, what was his name?
Frank Sinatra.
The guy that flew.
Yeah, I'm the wrong guy to ask. I have no idea.
The Spirit of St. Louis.
Yeah, I think it was the first flight
I have no
around
idea.
the world. I don't know. Or first transatlantic flight. I'm not exactly sure. But aviation.
The first transatlantic flight left from St. Louis.
Yeah.
That seems like an odd spot.
Interesting.
Odd
There is
spot
an
to
odd
start.
for it.
Yeah. I feel like start
So
on the
it was
coast to give yourself as much of a chance as you can.
Right.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree. It's true.
But I guess they made it. So
Right. So what other questions you got for us, Jared?
Well, what other questions do I have for you? I don't have any questions like that.
Or what are you curious about? What do you want to know?
So you're getting a new crop of students, right?
I am. I don't think David is.
I'm not.
Oh, you're
no,
not?
I'm not.
So your schools are completely different. It seems like.
Tell Jared and our listeners a little bit about your school and your environment.
My school is, in one word, amazing. But to be more specific, it is full of artists, full of woodworkers.
Guitar makers, which is pretty badass.
Guitar makers, which is really badass. And so they make all sorts of things out of wood. They do 3D designing, interior design, drawing, painting, carving, sculpting, all sorts of really awesome stuff. And so what will happen with me is I've been teaching first, second, third, and fourth year classes. All my fourth year classes.
So this means freshman, junior, sophomore, senior, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior classes.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
For our Americans out there.
And so I'll lose the seniors. They'll go on to start preparing for their tests, and I'll take on more second and third year classes.
Okay.
Because right now my most classes are the first year and the fourth year.
Okay.
And for me, I'll be
I
teaching
gotcha.
all.
All right.
I'll be teaching all first and second year students, so freshmen and sophomore. So it will be a big adjustment for me, and it's a little sad. Like we had our last day last Tuesday with my third and fourth grade students, and it was a little sad. But I'm looking forward to getting to know the new students, teaching a slightly different environment, and help these kids improve their English. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. That's what are you looking at me for? I don't have anything that we can go on to untranslatables. I don't know what you're waiting for.
There's a couple things I'd like to add. Do you have anything else to add about our time here so far?
There was a couple things Chad would like to add, yet he was sitting there in silence for a good 5 to 10 seconds.
Right. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have anything, Jared. Well, I guess I'll get started.
We are podcasting professionals.
That's true. The best of the best. What I've noticed while being here in the Czech Republic is, sometimes it's really cool. Other times, it's it's not really irritating, but it's difficult to be that American for people you meet. Because for a lot of people, unless you're in Prague, you're the only American that they might have ever met. I did an interesting experiment my last day of class. I just said, by a show of hands, if I'm the first American you've ever met, raise your hand. Over 50% of everyone in my classes raised their hand.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's after I realized that, it's kind of a daunting realization that I'm America for these kids when America is such a diverse country. And I think it's really interesting. Czechs will ask you all sorts of questions about the United States, and you have to kind of try to be a representative of it. And I told my students about the fact that the highest Muslim population in the States is actually in Dearborn, Michigan. And then they started to ask me all these questions about Islam.
You betcha.
I'm like, look, I'm not the right guy to answer these questions about Islam for you. Like, I'm not a practicing Muslim. Like, I have friends who are Muslims, and I'd be happy to ask them these questions, but I'm not the right person to answer these questions,
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, that I can understand how that becomes like, almost feels like some sort of blessing and a curse, where you feel like you need to, one, have the right answer, but also stay in your lane, but then at the same time you want them to, you want to be able to. You don't want to leave them ignorant, but also it's like, but I'm not. I do not feel like the authority on all of these topics you keep asking me about, which is why Chat often comes to me with questions about usage of the N-word and what it means to be a black person.
Yep. Refer to previous podcast episodes, and I'm sure you can find plenty of stuff on that. And the last thing I'd like to add is, David and I have been very fortunate that we've been able to travel to quite a few places in the Czech Republic. Humpolec was really cool, and what I'm hoping to do now is, time is slowly running out, and so I'm hoping to start to plan other places in the Czech Republic I'd like to visit. So there's a few cities I want to go to. I want to go to Ostrava, which is in the east. We actually reviewed a beer from that place a few episodes ago, and I would like to go there. That would be absolutely fantastic. It's on the total other side of the Czech Republic, bordering Poland or close to Poland, right?
Yeah, it's right next to Poland.
So that would be a great place to visit. I'd also like to explore more of Moravia, since I've gone around the northern and northwestern parts of Bohemia. I mentioned in a previous episode about Czech Switzerland, this beautiful. And were you in Czech Switzerland? You were at a national park, weren't you?
I was. Czech Switzerland National Park, which is amazing. And they filmed part of the Narnia series there.
Oh, really?
It's a really magical place.
Interesting how why would they choose that? Hey, I have a question. On David, on your Instagram, there was a picture that looked like it was in the dungeon that Batman got locked in, that he had to climb his way out of.
Oh, that was in Humpolec.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
what was that about?
Can you guess what it is?
I need to look at it again. It was on your story, wasn't it?
It was.
Is it all right if we post that picture to our Instagram?
Sure.
Because that's a cool picture.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I'd have to see it again. But that's just what I wrote down in my head. Was that looks like and on my notes too. I'm not gonna lie. But that looks like the dungeon that Batman got stuck in, like a smaller version of it.
Yeah. So what it is, as I mentioned before, Humpolec was a textile town. Mm-hmm. A lot of textile mills, and these mills, of course, had large smokestacks Well, they've taken this old mill, turned it into an art gallery, and the giant smokestack, which they said was somewhere around 150 feet tall, I think. It's very, very tall. They have cleaned it out. You can go in the bottom and look straight up. So it is looking straight up a 150-foot.
And this is in a museum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
an art
awesome.
gallery, yeah. And
So does the actual... Go ahead.
The name of the art gallery, the name of the art gallery is Osmička, which is kind of cool because it's a play on words, I guess, because the logo is an 8, and then it's Michka, which I guess means loop, but the number 8, if you turn it sideways, it looks like a loop, right?
Oh, like an infinity?
Yeah. But I guess it'd be 2 loops, but yeah. But it was an interesting place to visit, and it was really cool. And you're right. I did think about Batman actually when I looked up. You're totally right.
So if you were to look at the museum from outside, could you see the smokestack? Like, is it actually like a hole in? Like, does it stick out of the actual building?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's very prominent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's a really interesting.
How much
building.
does that cost to get installed?
Well, I mean, it was built there for the factory. I mean, they took an old factory building and they repurposed it for an art gallery.
I misunderstood. I thought they took the chimney from an old factory and moved it to the museum.
Which that'd be interesting.
That would take a lot of skill.
Yeah.
I mean, people have moved. We've talked about people moving full on. It was you actually. No, that wasn't you. That was
it was Jeff.
That talked about a whole church that was moved.
Yeah, in Most they moved a church.
What?
Because they had to move the church because Most was a big mining town, and so they had to move the church over. So they put it on like these rails and used like a type of train and pulled it. Yeah.
So
they thought.
Go ahead.
So they thought, we could try to, destroy it and rebuild it, or screw it. Let's just put some rails on it, lift it up, and move it.
So that came to mind, and I thought, all right, well, it's not that far-fetched to move just a chimney, then. That's nothing.
Right, that's true.
They're moving old churches over there.
Right. I think the cool thing about a lot of, newer types of, it can be anything, a restaurant, a gallery, a store. I think a lot of people, not only in the Czech Republic, but in Europe, they're very good at repurposing buildings. And they're doing this in Detroit, too, actually. A lot in Detroit with warehouses and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of warehouses in Prague also, they're repurposing mostly into hipster spaces, but also into some shopping malls, restaurants, things like that.
Exactly.
How do you guys feel about that? I feel like people I feel like people would not like that, locals.
I mean, Prague is a very hipster city. Of course, I mean, I think maybe the older generation, people who aren't hipsters, may not like it, may not go to those places, but compared to the rest of the Czech Republic, Prague is super hipster. You can see it from the way people act, the way people dress. And so I think, most of the young people are totally okay with it.
So maybe if it was happening in, say, Kumatov or Hradec, not Karlove. Kralove, that's where you live? Hradec?
Yes. Yes.
I'm surprised I even remember it. But they might have more of a problem with it than in Prague, which is the big sort of... or maybe not. I don't know. I
don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't know. I guess, how would you know? There's a university in Hradec.
I'm not going to put that on you.
Right.
But, so lots of young people there. But, probably not like Prague.
Right. But so anyways, it's been an amazing 5 months in the Czech Republic. I think David and I have definitely learned a lot.
From especially me, teachers, students, friends, all sorts of great people. It's been amazing.
How's the progression of your Czech been?
Not as progressive as I had hoped.
But it's coming along. But that's why we're here at the Untranslatable Podcast, and I think you know what time it is, Jared.
Yeah, well, yeah. This is all you need. This is a week's worth of language lesson, condensed, packed down into a tight segment that goes way too long usually, actually.
But hey,
right.
for your listening pleasure, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is how we become polyglots, everyone.
That's true.
It's a mental training.
If it's all right with you, Jared, I think it'd be great to have David start us off.
I think so too.
Пожалуйста. Пожалуйста.
It was the Russian one, right?
Okay, yes. So I have it here. Just give me a second.
I send David way too many memes on Instagram, so he's scrolling through.
Yeah, exactly. So I have one for you. I'll say the Russian, the literal, and then I'll ask you for the meaning, just like before. Okay. Когда рак на горе свистнет. It means when the lobster whistles on the mountain.
The lobster whistles on the mountain.
When the lobster whistles on the mountain.
No one's
when the
listening.
lobster whistles on the mountain.
It's when you're like talking to no one or like no one's listening to you, like no one cares what you have to say, and you're talking about like.
Not quite. Can you give him
yeah? That's like when the pigs fly. Like that'll happen
Exactly.
when pigs
hit
fly.
that ham horn, my dude. Hit it.
Oh yeah.
Good work.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. It's something that never happens. So exactly when pigs fly.
Yeah, when pigs fly is the English version of essentially saying that like that.
And the Germans will say when pigs whistle.
When pigs whistle. Oh yeah, that was Annabelle's.
That was Annabelle's. Yep.
Untranslatable. Look at that. It's all coming together. I'm telling you, people, this is how it happens. Tell your friends to listen to the Untranslatable podcast, and they will become polyglots. We are witnesses. Soon we're gonna be like Tony Robbins level, and people are just gonna be flocking to our podcast. Like, it works, I swear.
Right.
You have to listen to a babble, and all of a sudden you're speaking Albanian, which is my first one, by the way. Can I give you an Albanian one?
Absolutely, give it to us.
Kdo pil ka dera, which literally means
Kdo is where? No.
No.
Okay, that's a false friend with Czech. Okay, continue.
Interesting, because every forest has pigs, so maybe it is where. It could be.
Like where the forest has pigs, maybe, or something?
Yeah, it could be, or something like that.
Maybe.
Every forest has pigs is the literal translation that was given me, but it could be where, and it's just, how they translate it.
Right. What do you think, David?
I think it could mean that, in every situation or setting, there's going to be bad apples. That's my guess.
You're on actually the right path. But Chad, you give it a shot.
My guess isn't even close to that. My guess would be like it's just like something normal, like nothing to get worried about, just normal.
No, David was closer. It was essentially like both things have merits. So if you were to say which is better, Philadelphia or Humpolec, you could reply to that. Sure. Every forest has pigs.
Right. No, I'm sure Philly's probably great. Good. Okay.
Go Eagles.
By the way, I took a picture that I tweeted out yesterday that was literally just a pile of trash on the street next to a recycling bin.
Oh, no.
And I tweeted, at least they recycle.
There you go. So I have two of them for you.
It's awful.
And they are Czech. My first one is To so Bachorki, which means that sounds like fairy tales.
Well, it's just like David knows you can see it.
No, I don't. I mean, I can see it, but I don't know the.
Try to be sneaky with this one. I didn't give the.
Well, but before I just threw it out, I want to give. Give
her a shot, David.
Yeah.
That sounds like fairy tales, huh?
This one seems
something for children. I don't know. Like it's something for little kids. I don't know.
Nope.
No, my guess would be you're just like making up like made up stories.
Exactly. You're lying. You're telling lies. Good work. You got another one for us, Jared?
Oh yeah. This one is Arabic, and it's Dil Akalb. Hold on. Shit. Dil Al-Kalb Umru Ma Yatidal.
And that means what?
I'm so sorry, by the way. Let me just...
To our Arabic speakers out there.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. A dog's tail will never stand still.
Any guesses? I don't even know where to begin with this one. A dog's tail never stands still.
I have no clue.
I mean, is this like something's expected?
No.
No.
It's
Can you give us a clue?
Yeah. People always tell me, Jared, you take way too many selfies. It's becoming an addiction and a problem. Nobody wants to see your face from every slight different angle constantly every day. And I say, listen, baby, a dog's tail will never stand still. These selfies will always keep coming.
Sounds
or
like...
sometimes they'll say, well, could you at the very least stop smoking cigarettes in all of them because it's very bad for your health and it's bad for your lungs. And I say, what did I tell you? A dog's tail will never stand still.
So you won't stop.
You can't break your stride.
Can't stop, won't stop. All right.
It's essentially saying you can't stop a bad habit specifically.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
For some reason, they consider a dog's tail wagging a bad habit.
Okay, interesting. All right, so my last one for you is also Czech, and it is takrach jen na zed, which means to throw green peas against the wall. And I'll scroll up so David can't read it. What do you guys think? To throw green peas against the wall. This is a good one. This is one that I might have to use.
It means slipping on gator piss. I have no clue.
Talk that calf out of that heifer. No.
I don't even know why I have that on my soundboard because there's no use for it.
Right. It's a ridiculous drop.
Deborn me.
Any ideas, Jared?
Say it again. I do have an idea. I just need to hear it again. I forgot what it was.
To throw peas against the wall.
Oh yeah, it's just essentially saying it's like saying you're just like throwing out ideas.
Nope.
Does it mean don't do stupid stuff out of boredom?
Nope. That's not I guess.
I was convinced I knew it.
Let me
Still
give
shook
you guys
by the fact that I didn't get it right.
Let me give you guys some help. So this phrase or this idiom is really good for like visualizing, right? So if I throw peas against a wall, what's going to happen? Are they going to stick to the wall?
They're going to smash and fall down.
They're going to smash and fall down. So nothing's sticking, right?
Right. Nothing's sticking.
So what do you think? Any ideas?
I still feel like you're alluding to what I just said, where it's like you're attempting an idea, but it's not like you keep trying over and over again.
I mean, you're close.
Oh man,
you're very close.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
I mean, you're correct, but that's not what the untranslatable is. So let's pretend Jared was with us in Humpolec, and we're at the club, and Jared wants to talk to these Czech people, but they're really shy and they don't want to speak English, and he doesn't want to speak any Czech. And he keeps trying to talk to him. He keeps trying to talk to him, and I go up to Jared and I say, "Look, man, you're just throwing green peas against the wall."
Like you're trying something that's futile.
It
like you're wasting your time.
Well, it literally means it's when you talk to someone who like they don't want to talk to you, or like it's like the people who don't want to talk. Like it's like talking to a brick wall is what we would say in English.
Yeah.
Oh,
talking to a brick wall, right?
Okay.
Because like I said, you're throwing the peas against the wall. They're not sticking.
The peas aren't going to do anything to the wall.
Exactly. So you're trying to talk to them and it's not sticking. So there you go. So you weren't that far off, Jared,
also,
but it's...
Yeah. No, I gotcha. It's just funny hearing you try to explain it, though, because it really doesn't make sense, like, in English. So it was just funny to me hearing you like, well, so what makes sense? You throw it, doesn't stick. So essentially you're talking to a brick wall. It's like, I mean, okay, it still doesn't really make any sense, but that's why I love the Untranslatables.
That is
Holy
true.
shit. Did I, speaking of which, did I not play the Untranslatable Owl?
I don't think you did.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
How did we get into the Untranslatables without this?
I don't know. Did they even really happen without the owl?
Yeah, all right, let's start over. Let's take it from the top. I'll edit it, and we'll. And 3, 2.
Well, Jared, we have a special song today. Oh, you have one more. Perfect. Let's hear it.
No, forget it. I'll do it later. No, you already. Forget it. Forget it.
You sure? We got time.
I'll save it. It just means less work for tomorrow.
Fair enough. That's true. All right. So we have a special song on the pod today, and it was suggested by David. Can you give us some background about the song?
So, yeah, as I mentioned, I've gotten to know my students. They're really artsy. We do a lot of things together. We have fun, and we had a little Christmas party. We're hearing the song right now. So we had a little Christmas party, and we got together like 100 people in this really small room.
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
When your internet is awful, Chad. So when you play like YouTube videos, I can't.
Yeah, I'm not playing it. I stopped it.
Okay, I was like, I can't understand it. It just breaks up completely.
Yep, you're good. All right, continue.
So we got together like 100 people in this small room in the dormitory. Everyone in the dormitory basically came to this Christmas party. And we played Christmas songs, ate Christmas cookies, that lasts a little bit. And then they started, I brought a guitar. People were playing the guitar. And then they ran out of Christmas songs. So they went on to other songs. And this song they started playing, and it is called Tri Chunice, or Tri Prasadka, which means 3 little pigs. And it's about these 3 pigs that go on an adventure around the world. I don't know how, but they cross the globe all these like 3 times. And it's about their adventure, and we're singing along with them. It's kind of a song for kids, but I like it. And the chorus of the song is pig noises. So
yeah,
but the Czech version of pig noises. So it's
in English. What sound does a pig make in English? Yeah, like that.
Whoa, that was way too good.
Yeah,
that was good. I was just gonna go oink oink.
I mean, that's what we say. Oink, oink, oink.
Yeah. That was really good. So
that's like almost too realistic. Where it's like, yeah, that's what they actually sound like, but what would we say?
You're right. Oink, oink.
Yeah,
that might have to be a new drop, Jared.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's too funny. Oh my god, that's great.
So.
Yeah, what's the sound that they make in the
Czech?
song, in the chorus?
It's V, like we.
Yeah,
like
we.
Yeah.
It's V V V. So the chorus goes V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V, etc. So
I guess we say that too, though, don't we? In English, we say in the 3 little and the like when you do the little
wee all the way home.
Yeah, they went wee all the way home.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's true. And that is a fairy tale, so I wonder if that has something to do with maybe the origination of that story.
Yeah, it's
Could
likely.
be.
Because I think it's a pretty common, like, European...
pig sound.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so that's probably why they use that. But that is something that we should probably do an episode on, is just, like, animal noises in different languages.
Oh,
because
100%.
I would argue that that's something that's got to be universally hilarious to people when they
definitely.
hear how other people say...
Definitely.
different animal noises, because to everyone it's like when someone else hears another person's animal noise, it's like they don't even sound like that, like ours does,
Right.
Where it's like, yeah,
I
but
remember
horses are
watching the
actually
Family
saying
Guy
nay.
episode where Stewie had like a British, like a little Playmobil thing.
Oh yeah.
And it made all these weird European animal sounds, and they weren't what we're used to.
Yeah.
What's also crazy, speaking of animal
They don't
sounds
sound
in
like
different
that.
countries.
I remember that episode.
Exactly. The crazy thing about it is apparently ravens, I don't know how scientists did the study, but they did a study that ravens and crows can't understand ravens and crows from they don't understand each other's accents or squawks from different parts of the world.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So crazy
that's
stuff.
hilarious.
But yeah, so what were your thoughts on the song, Jared?
I can imagine them getting offended when they're like sitting around and there's like, oh yeah, that's a crow. It's like, I'm a goddamn raven. It's like, look at
Right.
me. I don't look anything like a crow. What are you talking
Right.
about?
Right.
I mean, the song was hilarious. Hilarious, and it was like, not only was the song hilarious, because I'm not a full dumb American that I just laugh at the sound of a foreign language as soon as I hear any language that's not my own. Even though I'm gonna admit that I laugh at hearing any other foreign languages take on an animal sound. That's always hilarious.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny.
But when you add the visual of the YouTube video that goes along with it, it looks like a dreamscape almost.
Right.
It almost looks like a I'm not looking at it now either, but it almost looks like a Czech Bob Ross video that's been that's been edited.
That's a good way to put it, for sure.
That's been edited to look into a song of some sort. That's what I think when I listen and watch it.
Did the song get stuck in your head? Because we listened to it and it was immediately stuck in my head.
For sure, yeah. That chorus did. I was almost kind of mad when David just sang that chorus because I had forgotten about it.
Yep. And now it's going to be there the rest of the night.
No way I was going to let you forget about that.
Oh gosh.
That's right. That's why we invited David on the podcast tonight.
But I mean, it's great. It's great, and I love the Czech songs because even though Chad's been in the Czech Republic for, as he mentioned, 5 months, it's rare that we get Czech songs.
Right. And some of the Czech songs we've done, one of them was in English. That blues tune was in English.
That's true. Do you listen to any Czech music, like when you're there, David, in your iPod or Zune?
Well, I listen to the pig song pretty regularly. Not really. I mean, there's so much of Czech music that I would say is somewhere on the line of hard rock.
Or punk,
or
definitely.
punk, and I'm not a huge early 2000s sounding hard rock. I'm not much of a fan of that.
That era was really in its era. Like that music was really of its time for, especially people like us.
Oh, definitely. I have to say, what's amazing about the Czech Republic is there is a gigantic country music scene in the Czech Republic. Like I sent Jared earlier when we were trying to figure out the song of the pod, I sent him the Czech version of Country Roads by John Denver.
Which was surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
They took out the West Virginia line that threw me off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Since this is Song of the Pod time, we're getting all musical here. I was also, my job as Untranslatable co-host is to, edit, prepare, and essentially live vicariously through Chad and have him bring his life to this, him bring actual experiences and stories and knowledge to the podcast. And another thing I saw on your social media.
Yours is a minor David's.
Chad's social media was you, obviously with your guitar, we joke about you having your guitar. You did use your guitar while you were in Humpolec.
That's true.
And it almost looked like you were putting on a one-man show / TED Talk class. Especially with some of the pictures I saw. Like on Facebook, you posted it, and then below they were I was like, who's taking these pictures? These pictures are amazing.
You want to field this one, David?
Well, first off, let me say that Chad probably won't admit it, but it was a really amazing show.
Well, thank you.
It was a talent show, but it very likely could have been called Chad's Got Talent.
Chad show hosted by Chad.
He played guitar for, I guess, what was it? A piece with a trumpet.
Hold on 1
piece.
second. Hold on. Let me shit on Chad real quick. I love how you just weren't going to bring this up. You were talking about how you had this great week in Humpolec and you had all this stuff to talk about, and you were just not even going to mention this slightly. Oh my God!
Well,
and now you're having David explain it.
Well, I'm not one to toot my own horn. I'm not one to toot my own horn. This is just hilarious
to me. Well, sorry, continue, David. I'm very curious. This just blows my mind that this is how I'm finding out about this.
Right. Well, what happened was,
I brought your social media.
I brought my little travel electric guitar with me to Humpolec, and everybody in our organization knows I'm a guitarist. I play guitar. And then when they got wind that I brought one with me, The night before the performance, 2 days before the performance, I was asked by two of my teacher friends here, hey, can we do a song together? Hey, can we do a song together? So the night before the show, I practiced this song called Lady Carnival with my friend Parker, and he's a trumpet player.
So were you not planning on doing any songs at all for the?
I was going to play. Well, actually, it's funny. So I was going to play the Friends theme song, but before I got to
you can do better than
Humpolec,
that, Chad. Come on.
well, before I got to Humpolec, I was having I had a scratchy throat. I don't know if it was a cold or not, but I got scratchy throat, horrible sinus congestion and everything. So I thought, okay, I'm not in any shape or form to sing in front of people.
But at least it's resulted in this beautiful podcast voice you have today.
That's true. The NPR. Today's the NPR edition.
I still love it.
And so, but anyways, I was thinking, well, what can I play? Because most of the stuff that I play, I need a band behind me. So, and classical pieces on an electric guitar just don't feel right. They don't sound right. They don't play right. So I threw out all the classical stuff. I wasn't really going to play any fingerstyle jazz stuff because I wasn't sure if people would know it. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, there's this really cool song by Stevie Ray Vaughan called Lenny. And it's an instrumental, really beautiful song. And I thought, well, that would be fun to play, and there's kind of a story behind it. And the story is that Stevie Ray Vaughan, who's actually the reason why I ever picked up a guitar. My dad popped in. We were driving his old blue Ford Taurus, popped in the cassette tape. For our younger listeners, they might not even know what that is. Popped in a cassette tape into his car. Hoo-hoo. And Texas Flood came on. That's the name of the album and the single off the album. It just blew my mind. And so I wanted a guitar after that. I got a guitar, and that's what really motivated me to play. And so the story about the song Lenny, though, is that there was this really beautiful Fender Stratocaster in this pawn shop, but this was before Stevie Ray Vaughan was famous, so he couldn't afford it. And so his girlfriend, Lenore, or Lenny, pooled together money between his friends and her friends and bought the guitar for him for his birthday as a surprise. And he stayed up all night writing that song and dedicated it to her. And so I thought that was a really cool story, really inspiring. And for me, the special thing about this travel guitar is I've now realized I've been to 5 different countries with this travel guitar.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of a special...
Now you got to take it with you.
Right. So yeah. So
also
it
shows
was really
the
fun.
Durability of this. Well, that's so. I assume they didn't announce a winner. It wasn't for a winner.
No, it was. I would say. I mean, we called it. We
you would have
called
won,
it a talent show. Wow, I don't know about that.
Jed was the winner.
Thanks, buddy. I mean, well, the thing is I would say it was more of like an open mic than a talent show. Really, we had a couple people tell some stories. Recite poetry.
Impersonation. Someone impersonated a fish in bagpipes.
Yep, so that was solid. And then there was also a donut eating contest where you hold the donut tied to a string, and somebody has to kneel in front of you and try to eat the donut. So that was really entertaining. I was laughing my ass off, so that was good.
These are the bonding games you're talking about.
I guess so, yeah. That was a definite another bonding moment in Humpolec as well.
Okay,
I don't hear anything.
Donut games and talent shows.
Right. This was fun.
Wait, so shit. I had a question about that talent show. Oh, no, I didn't have a question. Your shoes were dope. I did notice your shoes.
Oh, my shoes? The Nikes?
Yes.
You like those?
Those were sweet.
Yeah, they're super comfy. Love those things.
So, how did it go? How was it playing the songs with those other people?
Good. We rehearsed the night before the show and ran through, I think, each song 2 or 3 times. So I played Landslide with my friend John. He sang by Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks. And that one was an easy one for me to learn. I had it memorized after playing it a couple times. It's pretty straightforward. However, I played a Karol Gott song, who's a very famous Czech artist here. Singer, what do you call him? A pop singer, I guess, or
he's like a popular music singer.
Exactly, and so
old pop music.
Right, exactly, like 70s, 80s, 90s.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I played that with my friend Parker, and that song, because it was guitar and trumpet, I mean, Jared, you played trumpet. With trumpet, ideally you want to use keys with flats, right? So what this means for me as a guitar player is it's all bar chords. So it's all chords where I have to be constantly pressing down all the strings usually with this finger, with your index finger.
Okay.
And so it's kind of tiring. Even one song can be a little tiring. And I was really worried that I would have I would kind of stumble and struggle playing the song, but it went good, and it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. See, my problem is I just take myself too seriously when I perform for people because, I want it to be the best I can have it be. And I think for other people, I could play somewhat mediocre, and they'd probably still be happy with it,
Yeah, well, that's the artist within you. I mean, there's the perfectionism to that,
right.
And yeah. And I mean, I'm not here to compare myself to you, but even in the little aspects that I've played, I always notice that this would probably go a lot better if I wasn't so obsessed with trying to make this the perfect performance every time.
But it shows you care. You care about the music.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think in a way, music is yeah. Go ahead.
As a, you've played in, you don't want to, obviously you want to play well for these people because you were accompanying them. But have you, as someone that's played in bands in high school and stuff, have you ever gone into any sort of performance situation where you felt like you were woefully underprepared as a group, even if you weren't specifically?
Not ever my high school rock group or the group that we played in college, but definitely there were a few times with a couple of the jazz ensembles I played with. Wasn't sure how the shows were going to go because there's so many moving pieces.
Right.
And so
and also with the jazz, there's also there's a stronger aspect of being able to know the people you're playing with. I think, especially if you're performing.
Right. Exactly. So yeah. But anyways, enough about me and music. But check out our song of the pod. What's it called again, David?
Trzy Czunice.
So the three piglets. Check it out on our Twitter. That's right. It'll be stuck in your head, so there's a little warning for you. For our German listeners out there, I would say it's an Ohrwurmwarnung, so be careful. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So David, can you share the Czech word of the pod for us today?
So yes, Czech word of the pod. I thought I would think of a really useful word. Спасибо. So I thought I would think of something really useful. So this word, it's an informal word. Should be used mainly with friends. Don't use it in a work environment. And it is jasně, which means clearly. But it can also, it's usually used in the context of exactly. So if someone is repeating what you said or you want them to understand something or you're just agreeing with them, like in English you'd say exactly.
And in Czech you would say?
Jasně.
Okay. Jasně.
Jasně.
So is that what would be the German equivalent? Czech?
Genau.
Genau. Yes, that's I know. I was it's on the tip of my tongue.
Right. You hear a lot of Germans say that. You hear a lot of Germans say genau.
Yeah, genau is thrown around a lot for sure.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. Well, it's
have you heard that one before, Chad? Just in
I've heard
passing?
it in conversations. I hear it more with the students when they're talking amongst themselves.
Yeah, it's a very informal word. I wouldn't say it to your boss or something.
Right.
Okay. You would say genau. Maybe genau even gets more usage then, because genau you can use with anyone, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree. All right, so we have come to the time for our quote of the pod, and I have two of them today. And let me see if I can make this bigger. And I'll read one, and I'll let David read the other. Okay, so the quote I have for our episode today, which I think has been very helpful for the both of us since we've been here in the Czech Republic, is Dobra rada nad zlato, which means good advice is better than gold. And David's is
Kdo hledá najde, which means he who looks finds. And I think speaking maybe for both of us, we've looked for great opportunities and great people here in the Czech Republic, and I think we've certainly found it.
I would agree, 100%.
Yeah. Seems like it.
Absolutely.
I don't even want to say anything else. That was there's nothing that my stupid faces can say to add to it, so I was going to leave it at that.
Fair enough. It really has been amazing 5 months here in the Czech Republic. We've definitely learned a lot, and we would love to hear from any of our listeners out there, Czech or otherwise. If you've spent time abroad in another country, what are some of the things that you've learned? How have you grown as a person? And we would highly encourage anybody to go out and try to travel and spend some time abroad if you can. It's such a life-changing experience. I know that sounds very cliche and kitschy, but I think it really is true. And so we really hope you enjoyed this episode today. And we're really looking forward to the next upcoming episodes. We want to thank David again for taking the time to be an amazing guest. So thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you. Пожалуйста.
And so please let us know if you have any untranslatables. You can find us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. You can also slide into our DMs on Twitter, Untranslatable1. Or if you want to share any of your travel stories, what it's been like for you living in a foreign country, shoot us an email at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. We would really appreciate it. We'd love to hear from you. We really are thankful for all of your support. So keep it up, and we'll keep bringing you fresh new episodes off the GarageBand press. So we hope you all have a great day. And as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, děkujeme.